dream I know, deep up my feelings for you. Watch.
Hello reality viewers, welcome back again to Reality Latest Gist, the home of news and politics. For this channel, we dey drop news every day and we dey react to every videos wey comes our way. And na reality news now we dey drop for this channel, and we dey also dey talk am as e be. If today na the first time we say you dey come across this channel, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you are returning subscribers, I appreciate all of una for una massive support to this channel. I say may God bless all of una in Jesus name. Amen. I get video where I want present to una this very moment, and I go to follow una, they watch the video. After we don't watch them together, make we drop our opinion constructively for the comment section. Like our videos and also share our videos if possible. Bye for now.
News stories making headlines around the globe. 5 billion naira. That's how much each state and the FCT will get to address the impact of petrol subsidy removal and rising food prices. The funds are to be distributed through a formula with 52% as grants and 48% to be repaid to the Central Bank of Nigeria in installments. Additionally, the federal government has released 5 trucks of rice to each state governors. These decisions were taken by the National Economic Council. State House correspondent Adesua Omoran reports.
It is no longer news that it is not the best of times for Africa's largest economy, as it struggles to address the economic challenges stemming from the removal of petrol subsidies. Concerns have arisen over escalating costs of essential commodities and the need for macroeconomic stability in Nigeria. At this month's meeting, those concerns on rising costs of food and transportation dominate deliberations by the highest economic advisory body, chaired by the Vice President. Governor of Borno State, flanked by some of his other colleagues, reveals some of the decisions reached to alleviate immediate hardships on the people.
The federal government has approved the sum of 5 billion naira to be given to each state for the procurement of 100,000 bags of rice, 100,000 bags of rice, 40,000 bags of maize, and fertilizers. This funding has to be shared with a formula as follows. 52% of this money is given to states as grants, while 48% of the 5 billion naira is to be paid back on an installment basis within a period of 2 years, 20 months to the CBN by the states and the local government areas in Nigeria.
The issue of the social register, I would say that is ongoing in terms of a review. End game is to reduce unemployment, get unemployed resources. Unemployed resources are not just idle hands, but also they raise the capacity utilization of industries, including the moribund ones, to be restructured.
In light of recent labor union protests, the council establishes a committee to engage with labor groups while urging calm among citizens. The council also acknowledges the repercussions of the volatile situation in Niger Republic, particularly for states along the border.
NEMA will also liaise with states to distribute foodstuffs to the people immediately, especially those that are affecting the frontline states that are bordering the Niger Republic because of influx of refugees. The council has also tasked the state to dialogue with the labor unions leadership.
The meeting also reviewed a presentation on assessing the nationwide impact of the 2022 floods. The committee's efforts faced setbacks in addressing the effects on people and infrastructure.
Only 16 out of the total number of affected states forwarded their submission to NEC Secretariat to date, as expected. About 15 others were yet to do so. The submission from defaulting states are being awaited as we speak.
Recognizing the interim nature of these measures, the Economic Council reaffirms its dedication to pursuing enduring solutions. Emphasis is placed on long-term strategies, especially in commercial and irrigated agriculture. The Council also highlights the $800 million loans intention to assist Nigerians through accurate registration. Additionally, it welcomes the 500 billion naira package distribution announced by the President aimed at alleviating subsidy removal effects. Adesoa, Omorwan, Arise News.
Well, thanks, Adesoa. Okay, good to see you on set today. We're missing Dr. Bati. It's good to have you here.
Yes.
We have our palliatives, 5 billion naira to each state. Your take on this story?
Yeah, it's too little, almost too late. And it's as simple as this. Cost of food is rising. Cost of production of food is rising. Just a couple of days ago, farmers in Ogun State decided they were going to demonstrate in Yewa axis of the state, and they went out to demonstrate to say that we are struggling. This is not a case of let the poor breathe anymore. Even the middle class needs to breathe. They are struggling. Everyone is struggling. Even the upper middle class, they're struggling as well. We have a situation where farms are shutting down. I have relationship with farmers because I'm close to them and I have family members who are farmers. Poultry farmers are struggling to the point where they're shutting down. They can't afford the cost of the feed that they need for their poultry that they have. And other people are struggling as well. So we're in a situation where 5 billion naira as of today is a little too little, and it's coming a bit late in the day. This is what the likes of Rufai and Ruben and yourself have been saying on this show forever and a day, that this is a decision that should have taken days ago. It should have been taken weeks ago, actually. The decision to remove subsidy is an excellent one, but it's not one that you can do without putting in the arrangements and the palliatives. So we're in a very, very tight corner. I don't know how the governors are going to distribute 5 billion in any state of the federation. It will be good for them to be as transparent as possible so that the media can see what has been done with the money, but I am not sure where that will go. I don't know what your thoughts are.
All right.
I mean, largely, I share that sentiment. And it has to be said, we know the problems with Nigeria. We know the antecedents of our governors. Many times in the past, when they've been given a chance to be able to distribute necessary aid for the people, they became worse than the problems themselves. You remember the case of COVID-19 and the COVID warehouses? People had to go to those warehouses, bombard those warehouses to be able to get things to eat. You remember how shambolic the distribution was during COVID? And now you're giving those same governors a bag of rice, thinking they'll distribute? Hell no, they're not going to do it well. They are not going to do it well at all. Even the times we have given the governors money, I remember the bailout fund, so that a lot of them could pay salaries. How did they do it? They were shambolic in that too. So we're not expecting anything. I think the only thing that'll cut the chase for us is if we put in a specific layer of accountability as regards how the distribution is done. And that's why there should also be overseeing of this by the humanitarian ministry. Better Edu, this is your first real test. The government should allow humanitarian ministry oversee this and see how the distribution channel would actually go. Also, various emergency bodies that will handle distribution, NEMA, we should be able to allow them oversee this, and this will go. And they should forensically audit the distribution process. When I saw those bags of rice, all I'm seeing in my head is hope it's not going to go to party members and party surrogates. And this 5 billion, we should watch it closely. At least it's a good step to be able to bring forward a palliative. It's late, yes, we admit, but it's a good step. And we commend them for the same, because if they had not done anything, we'll also come here and say, oh, they had not done anything. At least we commend them for doing what they have done this time around. But the question is, how far-reaching? The other part of the palliative the president announced in his speech should be done. Most importantly, the cultivation. We can't keep saying distribution of food. It will get to a stage we need to cultivate and be able to make our own food. You can't keep giving a man food. You have to teach him how to fish. But most importantly, it will be bringing about production in the Nigerian economy. Today, we are not getting a lot of resources because the Nigerian economy is not producing. Most of the things we do on the agricultural value chain, we still import largely. We still import chicken, and we have poultry here because we can't meet the demands. How about we build that capacity to be able to meet the demands? We import things like gari, despite the fact that we churn a lot of cassava. We import rice, albeit through the borders. It's not on the books anyway. Again, that's why they say, oh, we have rice sustainability. But we still import. We import maize. We import everything. Can we build capacity where we can feed local production entirely and also be able to export? That's the biggest challenge for us. And the government said it was going to give subvention to be able to plant across hectares. Have the state governors earmarked those 150 hectares of land to be able to make those planting operations done? These are multiple questions. But the truth is, it's good what they have done. Better late than never, I'll suggest. Late anyway, but better late than never. But the implementation is the most important thing.
Absolutely. But let me differ with you slightly in terms of better late than never. Yes, it's good that they have released 5 billion naira, but I would say that it is almost tantamount to a drop in the ocean, and so the effect would not be felt, or if hardly felt. Since the removal of fuel subsidy and the suffering on the masses has often been likened to the birth pangs of childbirth. When you're in childbirth, you don't give paracetamol to a woman in childbirth. You would give a strong anesthesia like a spinal block or an epidural block, just so that it can match the level of pain. Yes, I know that there are staggered announcements in terms of the plans of the federal government to the response in response to the people. However, the first thing was that after over 75 days of this announcement, then you come up with trickles. What this presents to the state governors, unfortunately, is actually more of a challenge than a relief. Because how do you distribute 100,000 bags of rice to a state, in a state like Lagos State, where there are about 20 million people? Where do you begin? Which local government will you serve first? How would you allocate? What would be the sharing formula? It would leave more people feeling disadvantaged. And then when there's a rush for scarce resources, you turn people into, people start scrambling, and then there are fights and there are things. I believe that this, despite the fact that, okay, it's one response from the federal government, is so insignificant that it might actually cause more problems than bring about a solution. We've waited. The federal government have asked Nigerians to be patient. They are working. They're thinking. And then we come out with an announcement like that. At best, I believe it's quite disappointing. There are a few other things that has been mentioned in terms of what can be done. We need to critically think. Then this $800 million, what is the delay? I understand that there are consultations as to the best way to distribute this. Should it go more into infrastructure? Should it be conditional cash transfer, which the governors are insisting on? But we have to find an announcement. People are suffering. You cannot give 100,000 bags of rice, 40,000 bags of maize and fertilizers for a population of about 200 million people, or at least in different states. It is abysmal at best. And then moving on to implementation. When you look at private organizations, they have what we call implementing partners. Who will be the implementing partners of these governors? Are they going to channel these resources through their local government chairman, or how will this work? The principle, as has been mentioned, is in the implementation. A little, I don't know how the governors are going to go about distributing this, and this is what also pushes for them just leaving it in a storehouse, because when they think of the enormity of trying to allocate scarce resources, there's almost no point to going about doing it. And so this is pushing it back again to the federal government. A little too late, and almost nothing, because when you give a woman in labor Panadol or paracetamol, it is almost a slap on her face. It is ridiculous. It doesn't go anywhere. Move on to another.
So if you did right, wanna still leave on a comment below. If you did bad, wanna still leave on a comment below. Wanna remember, say everybody gets freedom of speech. Okay? All right. Thank you very much.